This month we've got a packed show of yacht racing, starting with the Cape Panwa Hotel Phuket Raceweek, where Go Yachting were on site covering the first event in the 2012-2013 Asian Yachting Grand Prix Championship, and what turned out to be one of the best race weeks in its 9-year history. We then go to the Dominican Republic and report on Asian success at the recent OptiWorlds. And finally, we return to Phuket for the Phuket Multihull Regatta. Organisers of Phuket Raceweek were left in a dilemma earlier this year as their home for 8 years was sold. With approximately 4 months to go before the regatta, the pressure was on to find a new home, and one at least as good, if not better than the previous. Cape Panwa Hotel, located on Phuket Island's southeast coast, came to the party and was the title sponsor and host venue for this year's race week. And what a great venue it proved to be. 34 boats from around the region and approximately 500 crew made their way to this idyllic corner of Phuket for what turned out to be one of the best Phuket race weeks yet.
We've been running Phuket Raceweek out of Everson, Phuket for the last 8 years, and we found out last year that they were closing down, so we were left without a venue. We're pretty much stuck to this side of the island, to the eastern side of the island, because of the time of year. So we went looking for a suitable venue, and fortunately Cape Panwa Hotel came up trumps for us.
In IRC racing there was a 3-divisional split: IRC Racing 1, Sports Boats and IRC Racing 2, with trophies for each and an IRC overall trophy also. Other classes included IRC Cruising, Firefly 850, Multihull Racing and Classics. Lining up in IRC Racing 1 was the all-new Rykel Pugh 45-foot Katsu against the modified GP42 Wan Marang and the J130 Jingjing. The light winds and strong currents of the first 3 days proved a challenge, and the rockstar crew on Jingjing, with Steve McConaughey calling tactics, made the best of it, scoring 6 wins from 6 starts. On the final day, the winds picked up and Katsu started to show her speed, scoring 2 firsts. However, it turned out to be too little too late for Katsu, as Jingjing had already established a comfortable lead.
The first race particularly, we had a reasonably good start. We were very quick upwind, some good downwind legs, great. We got line on us. The nearest boat that we are competing with is Wan Marang, the GP42.
The improving Wan Marang had a strong regatta, beating Katsu on the water in many of the races. But 2 third places on the last day saw them slip down to 3rd overall behind Katsu, with Jingjing taking the honours. The sports boats were racing under IRC and had a tight battle over the 4 days, with places shared around. The high-tech Wellborn 25 Brace 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 with its dynamic stability system scored a number of firsts, but her 3 third places dragged her down, and the locally built Phuket 8 Surf Patrol took the overall win. The Soto 30 Longitude, built for one design sailing, performed admirably on handicap. Skippered by regatta-winning plateau sailor Rolf Heemskirk, they were in the mix and placed 3rd overall. IRC Racing 2 was the largest class with 7 entries. By the final day there were still 4 boats in with a chance, and the title was won on the final race of the series. Moya Hin, Phoenix, Scandia Endeavour of Whitby and Ruby Tuesday were all sailing well, and despite a first in race 1 on the final day, Scandia Endeavour of Whitby finished 5th in the last race and with it lost the title. Ruby Tuesday scored 2 second places on the final day to take the regatta. Tied on points, Phoenix took 2nd place on countback from Scandia Endeavour of Whitby in 3rd.
It's a very new crew, we've never all sailed together before, and so getting it to work has been a challenge. We've had a great regatta. The change of venue has been managed well by everyone. We've had great racing and good fun.
In IRC cruising, no quarter was given between the 7 entries. Challenging for the pin end of the final day saw 3 boats bunch up and 2 boats in a small collision, testament to the competitive nature of the class. After 5 races, Sail in Asia came out on top to take the series title with Remington in second and Dreamtime in third. Organising a regatta is no easy feat, and changing the venue is something to avoid at all costs. However, this year the new venue and home of Phuket Raceweek was Cape Panwa Hotel, a 5-star resort on the southeast coast of the island. The private hillside resort, with beach and pier access, proved the perfect spot for boats to anchor, participants to board, and on shore the parties were legendary. The Firefly 850 is a Phuket-built one-design sports catamaran. 5 took to the start line at Raceweek, and with their colourful paint jobs and spinnakers were some of the best-looking boats on the water. A strong finish to the regatta saw Moto Inzi claim second ahead of Twin Sharks, but neither could meet the sailing lesson provided by Voodoo, who were undefeated throughout. Multihull Racing class started 1 boat short after Hurricane suffered damage on the way to compete. Da Vinci put on a masterclass to make a clean sweep with 8 from 8, extending their unbeaten run of 13 wins from 13 starts after securing the Phuket Multihull Regatta a week earlier. Only a few points separated the rest of the fleet, and despite a 4-3 on the final day, Nina held on to secure a second place, with Sweet Chariot in third. It's rare to see a classic class at regattas in Asia, and since the very beginning, Phuket Raceweek have been very successful in encouraging a class to compete every year. 4 boats made it to the start line this year, including last year's winner, Idiom. New entry, McBob the Boat, was the unknown, and they performed very well going to the final day, tied on points at the top. However, a 4th place in the last race saw them drop to 3rd overall behind Idiom in second, with Sirius taking the class win. The Cape Panwa Hotel Phuket Raceweek was a huge success. The new venue exceeded all expectations and raised the already high bar even higher. According to sailors, sponsors, VIPs and media, Phuket Raceweek is the regatta that regatta organisers have to beat.
We work very hard at making it as good as it can possibly be. The participants are very important. If they enjoy themselves, if they have good food, if they have plenty to drink, and they have good racing on the water, they go away happy people.
The 2012 OptiWorlds took place in the Dominican Republic, with young sailors from around the world taking part. In the Team Championship, 2011 winners Singapore and 2010 winners Thailand were both competing and looking to extend Asia's recent superiority in the event. After a slow start, Thailand improved, but never got past Flight C, leaving the favourite Singapore, Peru, Netherlands and the USA to battle it out in the latter stages. Singapore had to beat Chile and the Netherlands on their way to the final. And despite being the much better team on paper, Singapore made hard work of getting past them. In the final, Singapore met USA, who were sailing very well. USA had already beaten Singapore in the qualification races, but this didn't deter Singapore. They'd studied their defeat and were ready for the best-of-3 final. Singapore showed great team skills to outsail the Americans and won the first 2 races to be crowned Team OptiWorld champions for 2012. In the Individuals Championship, Singapore continued their dominance, placing 1st, 2nd and 3rd, a feat never before achieved in the OptiWorlds. Phuket's regatta season kicked off recently with the 5th running of the island's multihull-only regatta. The Phuket Multihull Regatta welcomed 9 boats in 2 classes and a new title sponsor this year, the Rawai Naihan Business Association. Run in conjunction with Al Shillong Yacht Club, racing took place in Chalong Bay on the east coast of Phuket. A mix of windward lewards and coastal courses around the scenic southern island off Phuket tested the sailors. Light winds over the 3 days meant hard tactical work for the crews, picking the wind shifts, avoiding the wind holes, and looking to use the strong currents to their advantage. 8 of the 9 boats on the start line were built in Asia, and 7 of them in Thailand. And it was 2 Phuket-built boats, Da Vinci in multi-hull racing and Voodoo in the Firefly One Design class, that took home the honours.